Good morning. Greetings, everyone. Lovely to be here with you. I was just a bit mesmerized by the new platform just there. First time I'm experiencing it. And very, very happy to be here. On my screen, at least, you're kind of joining now, but I am aware it may be just the way it's presenting rather than the way it actually is. In any case, warm greetings, warm welcome to each and every one of you to this new week of daily meditation sessions together, and to this wonderful opportunity to practice together, to come together, to explore the teachings, to explore our experience. And so I will be here with you this week. As some of you know, my name is Zohar. I'm one of the teachers that offer these daily meditation sessions. I'm very, very delighted to be here with this wonderful community again. And very delighted to be doing this on this, what is to me a new platform. I think it's been a little while now that this has been happening, doing it through the Sangha Life Connect platform. So the session this morning will follow our usual rhythm. There will be a reflection, and then a half-hour guided meditation, and then some time for questions and responses. So we'll have that full hour with those components in it to really nourish our hearts and minds and prepare for the day, or if you're in a different time zone, kind of nourish your day or reflect on the day depending on what time it is for you. What I wanted to explore today is how we respond through practice to some of the strong momentums that impact our experience. So when we pay attention to our experience, when we bring attention to our experience, we can notice that there are strong momentums conditioning it. And these can be habits of what we pay attention to and of how we pay attention to it. And this includes thought patterns and habits of thought. So when we pay attention, pay attention to our experience, we can notice this strong momentums that are conditioning it, including where attention is being pulled and how. And something that we're doing in practice, which is very, very meaningful, is that we are pausing that momentum. We're pausing that momentum of habit. We're pausing that momentum of patterned conditioning. And we're doing it again and again and again. We pause. And as we pause, we notice what we notice. Notice what is unfolding in our experience. And just that is incredibly freeing. Just that is incredibly freeing. Notice what we notice. It's simple on the one hand, at the same time, not necessarily easy to remember or to sustain. And that's kind of in itself is something to pause with and feel into. When we pause the momentum and we notice what is occurring in our experience, possibilities open up. And we can really have this sense of possibilities opening. like the body opening. When we're caught up in a particular momentum of habit conditioning, it tends to narrow down. When we pause and we notice, things settle and they open. And the possibilities that open up are what to give my attention to and how. What to follow. What to open up, what to open my attention to and how. What to invest our energies into. How to align with what is wholesome in the moment, with what matters to us in the moment. How to align with our intention right here and now. And I'm aware as I'm speaking right now, here's an example, people are having tech problems that Caroline is attending to very kindly, but we might be seeing that in the chat and our attention might be getting pulled to that. I was like, oh, there's those tech issues going on and some people can't hear or they haven't got a picture. And the attention gets pulled to that and away perhaps from the listening. And, this is the momentum that's happening. And we pause and we open to possibilities. So we can feel the care and the compassion for those who are joining and for the frustration they may be experiencing, not able to follow, not able to hear. And we can also feel that sense of agitation. Oh, it's not working for everyone. Therefore, I'm not going to be attending either. You might feel that momentum or just wanting to check what's going on. And we can just pause and notice and reflect out what's important right now. What can I give my attention to? If I can't solve that issue for others, can I trust that Sangha Life is doing the best that it can? And that it will eventually be solved, and can I come back to my practice? So there's a kind of interesting exploration right here and now where we can bring this in. Where to invest our energies, what to feed right now. So this is something that we cultivate in our formal practice very much. When we practice, when we bring attention to an anchor of attention, we're doing that. We're pausing the momentum. We're pausing the momentum. And we're realigning. Realigning with kind of our intentions and our possibilities and what is useful. We cultivate this in our formal practice, but it's applicable across situations, not just in our formal practice. We can learn how to pause and notice and recenter ourselves, realign ourselves across situations, in any situation. Align within ourselves, open the possibilities. I'm doing this through the body, and align with intention. We attend skillfully to what needs our attention. We continue this journey of life in formal practice and out of it. More clear, more aligned. Applying this capacity to pause and notice and align intentionally. And this supports an experiential understanding for us. That the way our experience is conditioned, constructed in constant, that matters. That it is constructed, it is conditioned, it is inconstant. And this is something that we can utilize. It's an understanding that we can then apply. It reminds us there's something we can do. Pausing the momentum to bring in intentionality. Pausing the momentum to bring in intentionality. That's a lot. And we do this again and again and again. We recenter ourselves, we ground, and we open, and we align in ourselves and with intention. over and over again. And I just want to say, before we move into a practice, when I opened my notes this morning, I'd made them a couple of weeks ago because I had a busy stretch. I saw that I called the session this morning, Pausing for Peace. Yeah. And so as we practice today, we can have that intention also. Yeah? That as we pause the momentum, notice what's unfolding, doing that with that intention of cultivating peace. And that pausing for peace can take many forms. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything stops. It's an internal posture that we take. It's an internal attitude. Yeah. And we remember that all over the world, there's others doing the same thing. Pausing for peace in different ways. And we're part of that network. So I particularly want to say, I know there's some friends here in Israel that are joining us, or perhaps they're not joining us today because today is a general strike in Israel and a big protest for democracy, actually, for human rights. And so knowing that's going on and people are pausing the momentum of their lives, pausing the momentum of their lives to recenter themselves and society, and to align with the deep intention of peacefulness, of care. And when we practice today, we're part of that movement of beings towards the wholesome. So with that, let's practice together. Let's find our posture if you're not already in a comfortable posture, or even if you are, maybe worth just checking in with the body, moving it a little bit, aligning a little bit. And settling into the posture that you've chosen for this period of practice. Making any adjustments that are needed. So that the body is as stable, steady, and supported as possible. As we do this, the awareness invited into the body. And coming more deeply into the body. Bringing the attention, the awareness to the contact sensations, body and seat. Just using the sensations of contact to gather and collect the awareness in the body, with the body. We're just using those sensations of contact to gather, collect, root the awareness in the body. You might notice that as we do this, we're pausing the momentum of habit, of the awareness going to the head. Keep grounding and settling. And if it feels helpful, opening from that groundedness and rootedness, opening the awareness through the body, letting it widen and expand through the body. Awareness gradually fills the whole space of the body. And we have a sense of the whole body sitting here, or standing, reclining, perhaps walking, whatever posture you're using. Whole body present. Within this wide body awareness, that intention of kindness, practice as an act of kindness. Letting that resonate through the space of awareness in the body, whatever it means to you. This practice is an act of kindness in the world, an act of peace in the world, including within us. We keep pausing the momentums of habit and returning to the body to notice our experience through the body space. Grounded and open. Opening to choose the anchor of our attention for this time. Sound, breath, body, choosing one that's helpful and accessible. And remembering our intention to attend to that object in alignment with kindness and peace. Remembering also every moment of attentiveness is a pausing of momentum and noticing a meeting of experience and an opportunity to center and align with what matters. So let's explore this in silence for a while. So taking a moment to pause and to notice what you notice, what's unfolding in this moment of experience. Staying grounded and open as you do this. Using the contact sensations if helpful. Opening awareness through the whole body if helpful. Feeling that opening to possibilities as you recenter and align. Attending to the anchor of attention that you've chosen for this practice session. Attending to it with care, with presence. As often as needed, doing this, pausing, noticing, re-establishing, recentering, and aligning. Over and over again. This breath or sound or body. What does it mean to pause with the experience of it? To pause in a way that nourishes care and presence, that nourishes peace. Once more, pausing to notice, to meet this unfolding moment of experience. As we pause that momentum of habit, grounding and opening through the body, remembering possibilities. Experience is conditioned, constructed, inconstant. As we pause the momentum, exploring the possibilities of nourishment available right here and now, in the way we attend to the anchor of attention again and again. In this moment, pausing, taking the time to meet the experience that's unfolding, the way it is coming together in this moment, pausing, encouraging ourselves to recenter and realign for the last few minutes of this practice together. Practicing for peace, moment to moment. When the bell rings in a moment, that too an opportunity to pause, to notice, to align, not following the momentum of habit, whatever that may be, but tuning into possibilities and intention right here and now. So pausing, the momentum of habit when the bell rings, and taking time to transition in a way that's wholesome, that's aligned with your intentions. Doesn't need to be slow, doesn't need to be fast, just in alignment. In a moment, I'll open to questions, but before that, just a few words about dana practice. And this is a really good opportunity to pause and notice the momentum. Some of you have heard these little dana talks so many times that naturally we might just tune out a lot or a little bit. And it can be interesting to see, both with the listening, but even more with the practice of dana, how can we pause the momentum of habit and keep things fresh, keep them alive? And there's something about dana practice, like any practice, that really can invigorate and be invigorated by this way of paying attention. So having a sense of this, beautiful thing that's offered to us, this coming together to practice, offered to us by each other, by the Sangha Live team. And, we're seeing today, there's still glitches with this new platform. And then we know there's people working behind the scenes to care for that, to attend to that. And kind of a sense of, as we might offer dana towards that, we are supporting that movement of care. Similarly with the teachings that are offered freely, that possibility to support, to support and to allow teachers like myself to continue to offer the teachings at all, and particularly in this way. So the link to offer dana is in the chat, as you may have noticed. If you're used to the old Crowdcast platform, on this one, there's no donate button, but it works really similarly. There's the link in the chat there. You can either follow it now, or you can copy it and paste it into your browser later, or at the end of the session. Whatever you offer, whatever you're able to offer, really supports Sangha Live to continue to make these offerings, and myself to continue to make these offerings. And what you will offer this week is divided between Sangha Live and myself. So thank you so much for your generosity and for your giving of your attention and giving of financial support, if that's possible for you. So I'd like to open to questions at this point, and there's two ways to ask a question. You can raise your hand, use the raise hand function at the bottom menu button on your screen, and that is for coming on live. If you do that, then you will come on live and get a chance to hear you and see you. There's also the possibility of putting a question into the chat. It's really helpful if you want to ask a question in the chat if you begin it with the word question in capital letters. So that would make it easier for me to notice that that's a question rather than a comment. And all questions are welcome, particularly about the practice today and what I said today, but it can be about anything to do with your practice. Okay, so I see Jane has raised her hand, so Caroline will bring you on. Okay, two questions to come on live. Let's see what happens. Okay, Jane, I see you. There you are. You just need to unmute. I think it should be the icon of a microphone underneath the video, I hope. Caroline, any suggestions? We can see Jane's video, but she's still muted. Oh, you're unmuted. Okay, go ahead and speak then, please. No, you are muted. It's not working. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's happening, Jane, but I think we may, if you want to put your question into the chat at the same time, I'm sure Caroline behind the scenes is trying to work out what's going on there. There's also a question from Jill there. That's a technical question. Yeah, I also love the phrase "pausing the momentum," Alistair. It makes it. There's something about it that just takes the pressure off. Yeah, I feel. Yeah. So let's see where Jane's question comes in, and I think there may have been somebody else. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, Jane, I was wondering if you could just put your question, whatever you wanted to ask, if you could put that into the chat. I think that will be helpful. And I unfortunately won't be able to hear you because I'm sure we're trying to solve that technical issue. But in the meantime, so that we get to your question, that might be a better way. Yeah. So if you don't mind writing your question in the chat, and don't know if there's someone else. I see Maddie also raised your hand. If you can put your questions in the chat for now, I think that will be more helpful at the moment so that I can respond to them. It's a question. When what you meet in the pause is deep sadness, any clues how to not get lost in that? Yeah, thank you for that, Joss. Yeah, this is an interesting thing, right? We pause and we notice what's there, sometimes underneath, yeah, the momentum of that's covering it. And so we see a few things. We see that momentum of thought might be a a way of just kind of not being in contact with something that's underneath. And then when we notice it, there's deep sadness here. What do we do? So it depends to a certain degree also on intention. Yeah. One thing that we can do with a sense of deep sadness is we go back to the object of attention. Yeah, we just see, there's sadness here. We're pausing. We're just noticing. It's a light touch. And I'm going back to the anchor, yeah, the sound, the breath. Not as a way of rejecting the sadness, but just because right now I want to calm, to soothe in that way. We're doing it with compassion and not with the rejection. We can also highlight the element of compassion in how we're attending. So we might actually turn to the sadness and bring our attention to the sadness with care. Yeah. With care, with kindness, holding it. So we're not going into the story of the sadness. We're not getting overwhelmed. We're just holding it in a space of compassion. The groundedness in the body and the openness in the body can be really helpful there. And we might even, if you're using an object like body or breath, you might even have a sense of soothing the sadness or kind of stroking the sadness, caressing the sadness with the breath, or holding it in a soft, softening body space. So we're attending to it without getting overwhelmed, perhaps. If you're using sound, and it's an object you're familiar with, you can also do that sometimes. Yeah, bringing in the sound and kind of letting that movement of sound be like a caress through the sadness or around the sadness. And sometimes shifting the attention to sound might be helpful in not getting overwhelmed by a strong emotion. But I'll just say, sadness is not a bad thing. It's not a negative emotion. It just is, like you say, can be overwhelming. Yeah, can be overwhelming. We can drown in it. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you, Joss, there, and thank you for that question. Okay, so here's a question from Maddie. Can you say something about non-attachment within Buddhism, as I have a friend whose cat is dying? It's about non-clinging, yes. So I'll say one important thing about Dharma teaching, which is Dharma teachings, is that it's really helpful to know the right time, the right place, the right situation to bring them in. And say in this case, the process of loss, the process of grief for somebody losing someone that they love, their cat, is very painful. So is it useful for them? Are they open to hear a teaching about non-clinging? And what does that mean in that context? The Buddha himself expressed grief for the loss of his friends. Yeah, he wasn't, oh, don't cling. I miss them. Yeah, when they weren't there anymore. And so it's kind of we can see this form of grief, of loss, as a way of honoring love and connection also, but just with a kind of attention to when are we increasing suffering in ways that can be avoided. So I would say in the case of someone else going through that, a lot of care, a lot of willingness to be there and to support and to hold the experience and to practice with our own clinging or attachment to this doesn't need to be this way can also be really helpful. So respecting the other person's process and at the same time being sensitive. When is there a possibility to bring something in that might allow them to just pause? Yeah. Reflecting on the love, reflecting on the joy they've had with the cat can be really, really helpful. Okay, I'm just going to try and get to the questions in the order. Yeah. Yeah. So something from Simon. I don't know if you meant for this to be a question or just a comment. Why is mindfulness not called mind the moment? I thought the whole idea was not to fill the mind. No, that's not the idea. Sorry. The idea is to notice what's going on. Yeah. It's to notice what's going on, and that opens us up for appropriate response. So it's not just not filling the mind. It's a tool to quieten the mind so that we notice. But as we develop the skill, we can be mindful in more and more situations. So it's not about, if I understand you correctly, just having a more empty mind, but actually to be in touch, to be in contact with our experience so that we can deepen understanding. And that is what frees us. Yeah, that is what frees us. I'm not sure what you meant about intentionality, but if you want to clarify that, I'm happy to respond. Okay, I see there's another question at least there, and I will stay and respond to it. Just aware that we're getting to the end of the time for our session. So if you need to leave or wish to leave, just want to bid you goodbye. And wish you an interesting day of practice, a nourishing day of practice, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Go well. Okay, where was it? Yes. Keep losing your question, Adil, sorry. There, I was lost today. It's such a good practice. Every when someone puts in a message, I lose the